I'm going to show you how to make an accordion folded fan. It'd be great for a beach wedding to cool off your guests, or you can hang it as decoration, so it works in kind of two different ways. First thing you need to do is you need a piece of paper, a large piece of cardstock. Canson makes a great paper in all different colors. I'm using all different blues. And what I'm doing here is on a cutting mat with a quilting ruler and a craft knife, I'm just going to cut from 1 to 5, and that's going to make a 4-inch strip. So I lined up my ruler, making sure it was aligned at the top and bottom to my mat. You want to hold it down firmly. I like to hold my hand in sort of like an L shape. And as I go down the paper, I'm just cutting it along the ruler. I'm going to stop midway, pick up my hand and bring it down here so that this end of the paper doesn't move around while I'm cutting. Here is my 4-inch strip. And then when you have your 4-inch strip, you're going to start your scoring. We're going to use a scoreboard to create the scores so that the folding is super easy. And what you do for that, as you can see, you have this board. It has all these indentations in it. And I'm going to take my popsicle stick that's going to be used as the base of the fan where you would hold it and see where it measures to. So that looks like 3/4 of an inch. So every 3/4 of an inch, I need to make a score. So it's all marked on the scoreboard. You're simply dragging your scoring tool, which is similar to a bone folder, along the scores every 3/4 of an inch. So you want to do this down your entire strip of paper. I like to drag my bone folder along so that I'm making sure I'm doing the right measurements. When you get to the end of the scoring board and you still have more length of paper, you can just move it down. And I like to just line up my last score with a number. So I'm going to have my last one's at 2, so I'm going to do 2 3/4 and then continue your 3/4 until you get to the end of the piece of paper. And then any leftover you can just trim off. And then when I'm done, it's all scored, I'm going to fold it. And to do that, because of those nice scores, you can really fold it very fast. So this makes making a bunch of these a lot easier. So you can see there I have a nice accordion folded piece of paper. So I have my paper here, it's all scored, and I've accordion folded it, but it's not quite long enough. So you need about a 31-inch length of paper. I like to measure it with peaks, which are these points right here, almost like little mountains. And then in between are the valleys, the ones going down in here. And what you need for this fan is 20 peaks and 19 valleys. So I've counted here my peaks and valleys, and I'm going to attach 2 pieces. All I'm going to do with an adhesive roller, which are really convenient and great for paper so that you're not using any sort of white glue where it might bleed under and make the paper moist. This is really dry and works great for paper, and it's permanent. So you can see I put a strip on one edge here and a strip on one edge here, and I'm just going to attach those to create that last peak. And this will make it look seamless as well. So you can see now I have a long enough strip of paper. So the next step would be painting your tongue depressors. I just did a white wash on here really quickly, did a bunch at once. You can do one side and then flip it over and do the other side. And I liked the white just because I liked the beach nautical sort of look. So I wanted to change that up a bit, make it a little different. With a hot glue gun, you are going to attach one end of your accordion fold to your tongue depressor. And to do that, I'm going to use hot glue. I'm just going to go cover this last piece here, take my tongue depressor, and because we made it the width of the tongue depressor, you can line it up very easily along that. So you can see that the accordion is now on my tongue depressor on one end. Now I have to do the other end. So we're going to bring this around, flip our tongue depressor, and I'm going to glue this end to the other side of the tongue depressor. So you're going to do the same technique, put a little bit of hot glue on there. And always when you're making things like this, you want to test it out, make one so that you get a feel for it. And then you can go back and have all your measurements and you can make a bunch of them. So you can see now I have this popsicle stick with an accordion fold. To get the fan shape, I am going to kind of scrunch it together. And there's no easy way to do this. And lay it out so that I'm making it into a circle, almost, okay. And I actually like to squeeze those folds together so that in my center of my fan I have a tight little hole. And in that hole we're gonna use hot glue, and that's gonna secure it together. And then you just wanna wait for that to dry, and you just hold it for maybe 30 seconds or so. Wait for that to dry, and then you're gonna flip it over and do the opposite side. So this side is dry, and you just wanna add a little bit of glue on the back side in the hole. So squirt a little bit of glue in there. Do the same thing and hold it in place and let it dry. And then when it's dry, you can add a little embellishment, a pearl button to kind of go with the nautical beach theme. And to do that, this also helps hide my glue, the glue in the center there. I'm just going to put a little bit more glue on the back of that button, flip it down, and glue it right over the little hole. And that should dry pretty fast. And then you do it on the other side. Same thing. Put a little bit of hot glue on the back of your button, cover up your glue, and let that cool. So my fan is almost complete, but I'm gonna add a little bit of ribbon to the end of it so that I can display them. So they're not only working as a fan, but also as a decoration. And I have a 3/4 inch width grosgrain ribbon in white to match my popsicle stick. And I'm gonna add a little bit of hot glue to one end, and then attach that to one side of my tongue depressor. And this is the same width of the tongue depressor, so it'll line up perfectly. And this way, I can hang these, because they look so pretty when they're hanging. You wanna leave maybe about 12 inches of ribbon, so make sure you have room to tie it or attach it to wherever you're gonna attach it. But then it also works if you were to take it off and fan yourself. And they work really well.